Those innovators at Taog's Hangar have done it again. They were the first third-party outfit to release a helicopter native to MSFS 2024. This one right here, the Hughes 500C with its Cayuse military twin. And now, in a huge update to that machine, they win again the first third-party helicopter to enter into MSFS 2024's career mode, what people have been asking for ever since this sim launched. We can now take the 500C on passenger, cargo and agricultural spraying missions. And you can too. The twin pack of the 500C and Cayuse is available exclusively on the MSFS 2024 marketplace. In this video, I'll show you what it's like to fly a spraying mission in career mode with this machine, and how to use the super helpful AgNav add-on that's packaged with the 500C, how to add your own spray truck in free flight, and how to spray a circular field. So, let's fly. And I have chosen a agricultural spraying mission in rural New South Wales, Australia. And of course I've been given this Italian liveried machine. That's okay, I can deal with that. It's very, very handsome. For this newly updated Taog's Hangar 500C, and it continues to look just great. Something I notice is that the materials have changed in the windows. Before, we used to have the 2024 style, highly detailed, kind of refracted, scratched interior, which I kind of liked. Now they're much more clear and smooth and reflective from the outside, so we can see the sky there reflected beautifully. For me, I don't know, it's going to be a matter of taste, isn't it? I think I sort of like the old one better, but here we go. We've got a nicely tinted bit of window up here now, so I think that's an improvement, and we continue to get all the benefits of the MSFS 2024 functionality with the infinitely detailed paint finish there, which looks just great. I've got the agricultural spraying kit loaded on, and what I think I ought to do now is show you some key bindings that have changed. So what I've done here is I've filtered on spray, and as you can see I've got spray on and spray off on the same button. Now previously Taog's Hangar had a kind of in-house custom system where they had it on some other control input, and they had that mapped to toggle the spray on and off. Now they've moved into something which is a bit more standard in MSFS 2024. I think that's the right thing to do. And so what we find here is the two that I've used. I've got it on one button. You see, it might be a little bit confusing to you. I've got spray on, and when I release the button, I'll just go into show you the controls on this one. I've got set the control on release, which means that spray off is triggered when I release my button 6, or whatever button you like on your joystick, to stop the spray happening. So that is because of the set control on release. And also for spray on, we don't need input repetition on that. It seems to just work like that. So that seems to be just fine as it is. So anyway, that's good. Let's go and get this flight started. Well, here we go. I've switched to VR for this one in my Pimax Crystal Lite, for which you may find an affiliate code in this video description to stack a 3% discount on top of whatever Pimax might be offering at this time. So, no cost to you, but perhaps a benefit to my channel. Thank you. Definitely an easier way to deal with this tricky operation of getting on this tiny truck. Now I'm a bit concerned about the existence of these rather tall power pylons here. We'll have to see how that goes. How are we going to go here? Well, mostly on the truck there. Clear to go. Okay, so in this paddock that MSFS 2024 has given me, there are some gigantic power pylons. So that's going to make this demonstration rather difficult. But what I will do is show you the process, and we'll just have to not spray where those pylons are. So notice that the agricultural spraying version of the 500C is now fitted with this AgNav, a community-built add-on for MSFS 2024 aircraft, or perhaps 2020 as well, with a light bar at the top with some summarized information about what we need to do, and a GPS area here which gives us information like winds, 4.4 knots, probably not going to be a large factor here, temperature in Fahrenheit, I do wish I could change these units, barometric readings, some tracks, and what swath we're on. So anyway, let's just get this thing started. Now, what do I want to do here, left or right turns? I'm on the left-hand side of the machine. I'm just going to choose left turns, left swath. Whoa, what's happened here? The machine's been moving the whole time. So we are going to ask for a racetrack style configuration, which might just be easier to show you when we get going. We've got things like squeeze, which you can do in things like circles where you want to move into the center. But for this one's, racetrack should work nicely. So I'm going to ask it to start area, and I now need to place a marker once I get this helicopter righted. So let me just pull back on the collective. Okay, so we are going to want to put a mark in 3 corners of this field. So we'll just recon over to here, get to this corner over here, and we will place our first mark. Okay, so we tap mark on here. Now it's saying fly the line and mark B at the end. No worries. We will get that done now. Here we are, almost at the end here, so I will mark here. And this one's a little bit annoying. We fly to the field boundary because it's not quite a square or a rectangle, this one, so we'll have to see how this goes. We'll fly over to this far corner over here, and this will be where we start our swaths. Notice that's how it's spelt on here, not with an E, so I'm going to say swath instead of swathe. Alright, here comes the third corner. Remember, for the third corner you want to do it so you're going to be doing a left turn, so that's why I've come to this end of the paddock, because that's what we asked it to do. So we're going to place a mark here. And now we get the display lighting up with the swaths that we have to fly, starting with a blue one, which is the one we're going to fly next. So I'm going to get up to speed over here. Now, we are going to be on, I think that means it's going to be on, so L10 I think means that it's going to be on the first line. The 3 is our ground speed, and the left 95, 96, 97, 98 tells us what we need to do with flying our line. So we're getting lined up now, coming down here, and I'm going to hold down the spray once we get over here. Left, perfect. Now it's telling me I need to fly right, 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 right. Yeah, and what do you know? That is, it's not a rectangle. Okay, this one might be a bit better here. So spraying. I need to fly left. I need to slow down. And stop. And notice that the race track method doesn't take us onto successive swaths. So this is great, because it means that you don't have to take such tight turns. And that was a bit close to that building. And now I'm not on the line, but we'll get over there. Okay, now we get on to the next line. Whoops, that's not very good. And holding down spray. I need to flow right, 20. Almost right on the line here. And notice that the chart fills in with the areas that I've already sprayed with that one weird line, which is just the way this field is laid out, because it's not square. Well, the Korea's already kind of calling this finished, so get over here to the right a little bit more. So because the shape of this field was quite difficult, I've sort of done my best. A bit of difficulty there in the shape of the paddock. You can see the kind of the real shape there in green. That's the shape I sprayed compared to the one I laid out with the 3 points. But hey, it worked. So I've successfully completed the mission. I'll head back to base. So something else that's happened here as well is that Taog's Hangar has updated the sounds. I'm finding this engine sound much easier on the ear. It's a bit bassier. And you get some kind of gearbox over rev kind of sound effects too when you're doing things like auto rotations and powering down, so that's a nice little addition as well. I think the previous version sounded maybe just a little bit artificial and a bit whirry in the headphones, maybe a little bit overreactive to RPM changes, but I think it's a much nicer balance right now, and I think the sounds are really much improved in this updated version of the Taog's 500C. Alright, where's the 69% fertilization quality? Yeah, execution time, well at least that was alright. So I got a decent rating there, I guess. I think the important things are that the 500C is a glory to fly and remains so, and it feels even more stable than it used to, if anything, and that AgNav system made the whole task even easier. Wonderful. And we stay in Australia for this next bit. I wanted to try some circular fields, and I just found some nice ones just north of Wangaratta and from down from Corowa here. And I thought, oh, I like the look of this one. It's a contrasting color, so it'll be easy to spot. And there's a little parking area over here. So I'm going to spawn in, and we are going to see how to do a circular field with the AgNav kit. But I'm also going to show you how to add a spray truck into the scene. So I'm going to put my helicopter over here, set as departure, on the ground ready for takeoff, and I will show you how we can put a spray truck in. Alright, I just put it over there actually just to keep it out of the way. So how do we go about adding this spray track? Well, with the developer mode on, we go up to File, we go up to New Project, and it prompts us here what we want to call it. I'm going to call this Pichelba Ag Truck, and I'm going to create that new project. I'm going to create a package. I'm going to say Next. I'm going to add a scenery. I am going to call it Pichelba Ag Truck, and the package name I'm going to call Pichelba Ag Truck. It replaces my spaces with those dashes. Next. Just an empty template, it's fine. Create scenery. Alright, so what it does is it starts the project editor with which the project inspector is associated, so you could control the visibility of that with the view from the project editor. And it creates the scenery editor from which all of these other windows have popped out. It's remembered my last settings. Yes, I want the gizmo to move things around. Yes, I want the objects to select from. Yes, I want the properties to change. So that's what I've got on my screen. So now I have got Kaimanawa Sai to thank for this next part, because I had no idea what the ag truck was called. If you go to objects and filter down to scenery here, we're going to add a scenery object, and if you just filter for helicopter underscore aerial, very confusing title, here we find these potential objects. So I'm just going to choose, I don't really care, there's I think about 4 different options there. I'm going to choose the helicopter aerial blue cabin, fine. Then I'm going to add that object to the scene. And there it is, it goes right in. So let me just bring the camera over here a bit. I'm going to move it a bit closer to the road, move it over here. That looks all right. I think that's okay. So are there any trees involved around here? No, I don't know what that thudding is. I think it's just the helicopter moving around. Right, so we have got our truck in here, fine. We don't need to change anything else on here. I thought what I might do is just screen out these rocks and plants down here, and we can do that with a polygon. So we add a polygon, add that. Our cursor turns into that red point, so we hold down Control and we just click on the area we want to exclude Let's get rid of that little bit of shrub there. That was control click, control click, control click. And now to close the polygon, we double click, highly unintuitive. And we click the polygon, we get the polygon properties over here. Click vegetation. I want to exclude vegetation. And we click rocks. And I want to exclude those rocks. There we go. So now we've got a clean spot there. Imagining that truck has come in there like that. Good. So control S to save over here. And over here on the left, we see that my project is outdated. That's because I've made changes, but it hasn't been rebuilt yet. I could build it down here, but I think better to do it up here because with this build and export, what happens is I click this and I get this option here. I don't want to send it to the Flight Simulator Marketplace. I am not qualified for that. But I can just send it to my community folder in a zip. So yes, I want that project to go, please. Build and export. It'll send it here to my community folder. And there you go. Only took a couple of seconds. So if I unzip that into my community folder, that means I can use this scenery the next time I start up MSFS 2024. And here is our agricultural spray truck added into the scene. It's not necessary to do this. You don't need to put it in here. You can put fuel, or I should say spray, into the helicopter without this addition, but it does add this extra layer of fun. Should you want to populate your local landscape with one of these. How am I doing here? I need to get the skid right over to the edge of the pad here, and I'm a little bit far back, so further forward and down again. And lowering the collective. And we've done it! Well, let's get ourselves loaded up with spray here. So we go aircraft, we go flight performances, we go mass and balance, and we find that we've got a liquid tab here. As I said, we don't need to be on the truck for this, but you can just do it on the ground. But the truck's fun because it's hard. So we're going to load that into the aircraft. There's 2,500 pounds already. So you might want to do things like take out a bit of cargo down there. Seats are not really an issue because we've only got a pilot on board me. So can we get, how much more full can we get that? Yeah, like we might have to actually sacrifice some fuel. That'll do. So that's largely, we're at max weight, so that's fine. So I like to leave this on the satellite view. Gives me a better view of what we're doing here. We are targeting this dark green field right here. So we fly over that little pond to get there. And so on the AgNav, which I just love saying, AgNav. So we want a expand on this, and I'll show you what that means when we get there. It means we're going to draw a center line, and then once we complete that center line, then it will expand out the next two swaths to go out from that, expanding out from that center line. So you'll see. Now, in theory, oh dear, it does do this. After a while of sitting on the pad, it moves around and then falls off the pad. I'll fix that momentarily, people. Okay, swath width. It is quite disturbing, isn't it? With swath width by default is 90, and I think that's fine for the purpose of MSFS 2024 career mode. In reality, I think the Hughes 500 actually probably only is able to achieve about 25 to 30, so I might just put that on 31. You can just choose what you like, really. Just choose the adventure that suits you. Expand, left is fine. Yes, auto advance, that's fine. So I'm going to say start the area, and what it's asking us to do now is to mark the center line of the circle. So what we need to do in expand mode is, for instance, start here and set our A point, and then fly over here and set our B point. More or less, let's hope, right through the center of that circle. So let's jump into VR and do it. Okay, I think that's more or less through the center. So as soon as we pass over this bush here, I will go mark. Oh, I think I missed that. Did I miss that? Oh, mark B. No, I got it. Set B, it's saying. So I'm just going to stay flying, sort of aiming. I've got some bushes on the other side there that I'm aiming for, on the horizon actually. And that'll give me my B mark. So unlike a rectangle field, we don't need 3 marks, we only need 2 in here. So getting ready to mark B now. And there's our first line. So what I have learned is that you do not immediately double back and fly that line, you go back to the start, and then everything will be in sequence. If you miss a line or you push the spray button twice by accident, something like that, what you can do is use the next and back on here. So I've only got one line or one swath in there at the moment, so that's not relevant to me right now. But I could, as I said, if I've double clicked or something, then I can just back up one down here, which is a good way to go. Okay, we get ourselves lined up. Am I going to overshoot slightly? I think I am. So we will get ourselves back. There's that bush I lined up on. A bit more collective. And spraying. There's the outside view to prove it. Oops. Back in please. Okay, so we need to go right slightly. Holding down the spray the whole time. This is a bit calmer than that field with those power pylons in it. Now I've gone to the left slightly. And release. Do a left-hand turn with these very close-in swathes now. Spraying. Go left a bit. So, other things I like there about the Ag Nav. Yes, we've got that wind plot on there. Not a large factor today, only a 3 knots or something. More left, please, Matthew. We have a green tank indicator there, so we can see how much spray we've got left. And releasing. There's something actually quite soothing about this. Quite soothing, just working your way up and down this field. Doing a good job, or a mediocre job is what I'm doing right now, because I'm not very good at flying these narrow tracks. So there you go, I found this really fun. I've really enjoyed developing my skills, which are a very, very long way from perfect here in the spraying. And by the way, taking the swath width down to 30, like what I did, actually makes it much harder to follow, to keep on that line. Very much recommend that you keep it at the default of 90 initially, and then you can bring it down as your skills improve. So, Taog's Hangar, in my opinion, deserves a lot of credit for their innovation in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. The first native, oh, that's a tight turn. First native MSFS 2024 helicopter, this one, the 500C and Cayuse twin pack, and now updated so that it works natively in the 2024 career mode. Incredible achievement. Incredible work by this really talented team. They deserve a lot of credit. This machine, if you don't have it already, can be yours from the MSFS 2024 marketplace. And I hope you've really enjoyed seeing a little bit of action here with the machine, and perhaps taking your skills a little bit further with adding in your own fuel truck or ag truck if you want to have a go with that, and improving your flying skills here in the machine as well. So with all that said, thanks so much for watching, and I do hope I'll catch you for another one real soon. See ya.